Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope you're all having a great day. Just want to bring you all a little book of the day review. I recently read, or rather reread, Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha. And that in addition to a book called The Stranger, which is written by Albert Camus. And both books they're both fictional. And it's really interesting because when you start to read multiple books, especially, a blend of fiction, nonfiction, different ideas really kind of begin to blend together, and it helps you to be able to live a more well-rounded, a more holistic, and a more eclectic life. And the reason I brought up these two books together is because they have a couple philosophies in them that, I've really been able to at least personally pull away, and it's something that I've been able to use to help me live a more well-rounded life. And these are some philosophies, and you don't have to agree with them, but I think that there are a couple principles within these philosophies that we can all take away from, at least to one degree or another. So the biggest thing is that there's the philosophy of existentialism. And while there's a whole belief and ideology system behind it, I don't want to confuse anyone with saying that's a religion, because it's not. It's a philosophy, and you can pull whatever beliefs you want from it. So if you're atheist, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, it doesn't matter. But the story of The Stranger is really great because it really delves into those existential concepts, and what I've really gained from it is kind of the sense that the world keeps turning. If you read the book, there's the main character, and he goes through life just living, and he encounters many events. One event in the book is that he accidentally kills someone, and everyone's wondering, why'd you do it? And he just says, oh, I accidentally stabbed him, and it was what it was. So he goes off to the trial, and the judge is asking him, well, did you kill the guy? And he says, yes. And he says, why? He's like, I just did. And so the meaning behind it isn't that, it's okay to just kill people, but the point, the central theme of the story is that the world keeps turning. Bad things will happen. If you're running a business, it's more than likely you're going to encounter problems. Maybe it'll fail, maybe it won't. But even if it doesn't fail, you'll encounter problems. If you have a job, there might be people that bother you at the job. If your boss asks you to stay a couple extra hours and it's unpaid work, and maybe you don't want to do it, that's a problem. But at the end of the day, the world keeps turning, and it's all about how we adapt and how we react to those. And that's really where I love the existential philosophies, because it truly is the philosophy that the world keeps turning, and you can either adapt and you can grow and you can, live accordingly, or you can get bogged down by everything in our daily lives. It's the same thing if you have a relationship and you're having issues. You need to be able to look at the issues and assess them and talk it out in your relationship, because remember, to live the good life, as Aristotle put it, it was health, wealth, love, and happiness, all four pillars. And in order to live in those pillars, you have to be able to live well-rounded, and you need to be able to really just handle everything that life throws at you. Because to live a big life, and to live a really, really, big and great life, so to speak, especially in terms of wealth, basically you're creating bigger problems. Instead of having a $5,000 problem, you want a $500,000 problem. If you want to know how to make $1 million, then you're going to have $1 million problems associated with that. And so that's really why I love the whole existential concept, and why I love the book The Stranger, which was written by Albert Camus. The second book there was Siddhartha, which was written by Hermann Hesse. And the reason that I really, really love the two books together is because Siddhartha's journey, which of course it's about Siddhartha moving on and becoming it's his journey to enlightenment. And if you look at Maslow's hierarchy, personal enlightenment is the top of the pyramid, after you reach physiological needs and safety and the other points. So it's Siddhartha's journey to enlightenment. While it has many religious references in the story, and in reflection to him being a Hindu and such, the reason that it's such a great book for anyone to read is because, again, enlightenment doesn't have to be a Buddhist concept. It doesn't have to be a Hindu concept. It doesn't have to have a religious connotation or meaning to it. For me personal enlightenment is just living a good life. It's living a well-rounded life. It's being able to go out and affect people every single day. It's being able to make the world a better place. And that's why I really love Siddhartha, is because he goes through life. He was born of nobility, so of course his father expected him to carry on a family tradition of his nobility. And what he does is he basically renounces his nobility and he chooses to live with the nomads, living very poor and selfless, to see if they have the meaning of life. And he discovers that, well, they have their way of living and they have their meaning of life, but it's not an absolute truth. So he decides to go to the city, becomes a wealthy businessman, and Siddhartha finds the experiences there great. He meets a woman and he ends up with a bastard child, so to speak. And what he discovers by the end of the story is that no one's enlightenment, no one's journey to enlightenment is the same. Your enlightenment may be different from my enlightenment. And this really ties into our culture today. If you've ever read The Magic of Thinking Big, which is written by Sam Walton, one thing that he really hits home with is what's considered a win to you. What is a win to you? Maybe it's making $1 million. Maybe it's closing a contract for $100,000. Maybe it's simply getting from where you are today and making an extra $100, which is where I always tell people to start on their financial journey to, growing their mind, growing their income. Is I always tell people to start small, work their way up, which is how you should do it. But whatever it is, whatever point you're at, your journey to enlightenment is going to be different from your neighbors. So that's not to say that, I'm saying whatever religion you follow is you can't follow that, but I'm just saying personally I believe that one's enlightenment is going to be different from another's, and again it all ties in together. And you find that in business. Your win may not be my win. My win may not be the same win for Grant Cardone or for Donald Trump. Everyone is going to live a different life, and what's big to you may not be big to the next guy. So I really recommend you go out, check out those books, The Stranger, check out Siddhartha, and go ahead, drop your thoughts below if you do read them. Let me know what you think, and I'll be catching you guys later.